I want to bring in Joseph Scott Morgan right now. He's a certified death investigator, professor emeritus, like Jacksonville State University. You know everything about this stuff. I find it always weird that we're having a conversation after we, the people, kill somebody, planned it, staged it, set it up, had witnesses, wired it up, let it happen, roll a carcass out. I always find that to be disquieting, and that doesn't say whether I believe in capital punishment or not. Give me your thoughts now that you've heard it's happened.
Well, now that it's done, Ash, I think that it's really important that we reflect upon the fact that, we have 5 manners of death, that we classify in medical legal world. A homicide, accidental, so forth and so on. This is a homicide, and it should be investigated as such. And the reason I'm saying it that way is that this is the same as an in custody death with a police officer, in the backseat of a car, on a sidewalk, or anywhere else. They need to thoroughly investigate, and the investigation takes place in the autopsy room. And here's why you need to do that. First off, you need to document anything that's on his person. But secondly, you need to talk about this mechanism and how it affected him. And there's a lot of other eyes on this, Ash. We have to keep that in mind. There's 2 other states that have approved this methodology. So they're going to want that data moving forward. And I think that the people of the United States want that data as well. They want to understand this process and try to understand the mechanism and how effective it was. So I suspect that there will be an autopsy performed. It'll be performed by the state medical examiner, and it will be very thorough. And you're not going to find things. I don't think that there are necessarily going to be tissue changes, such as in his lungs and this sort of thing. The trick here is the toxicological examination of the blood and where the blood originates in the body, because what you're looking at is the processing of the nitrogen through the system. So if you go into the vena cava coming off the heart, testing the lung, how the air is processing through those levels contained therein, that'll give you an indication. But this is an inert gas. This is not like potassium cyanide that was used, say, in the gas chamber back in Cali all those years ago. This is not a toxic substance like that. This is something that is simply oxygen replacement. So it'll be interesting to see how this is measured anatomically, and also the reports coming back from the individuals that eyewitnessed this.
I just want to pop something in here. I was not aware of this, and this is weird. So this is some reporting from NPR. I didn't know this. Back in 1996, Kenneth Eugene Smith was actually retried for this. His first conviction had been overturned, okay? And you know how it works. You get a conviction, the jury does the conviction, and then usually in most states, the jury will actually deliberate on death or no death, right? Right. Some states have had some differences in that. But one of the jurors in this retrial voted for the death penalty, and every one of the other jurors voted against it. So all but one juror voted to put him in prison for life. And the trial judge, his name is Pride Tompkins, ignored the jury and imposed a death sentence on his own.
Right.
That's also something that is, it's part of criminal code in many states, not every state, but that is really fascinating. I would wonder how those jurors feel tonight, if they're still around, 1996, not that long ago, knowing that they said, no, we don't want the death penalty, we want life in prison, and one man basically changed the trajectory of his life and death. But so I got to ask you really quickly, Joseph Scott, it's kind of like housekeeping almost, which is weird. When you have an execution like this, do they do an autopsy right then? Like, did they set up an autopsy right then and there? Because I am guessing that nitrogen hypoxia might have some half-lives. Like, if you're going to ship them off to a hospital and set it all up in hours, things will change in the body. And we need to know a lot. Like, we need to know everything that happened in his body. What do you suspect happened?
Well, I've got a big reveal here. I've actually participated in 2 autopsies on capital punishment cases while I was in Georgia many years ago, and assigned to the state medical examiner's office then. And those bodies were taken from many, many miles away and brought to the state medical examiner's office, where we conducted the examination. Now, those were both lethal injections. Going into this idea about the half-life of the nitrogen, I think probably you're not going to have that worry here. I don't think that there will be that great of a diminishment. There is a possibility they could do immediate blood draws there at the facility, capture that blood, and then go do the full autopsy at that point in time. If that's one of the concerns, over where I have previously had experience, did you know that there was actually, they would invite the medical examiner for the state to be present to observe the execution as well? And when you think about it, it's kind of logical because you can see the process unfolding and then document it afterwards. I don't know if that's the case in Alabama. A lot of that is going to remain to be seen. I think that's a salient question to ask, though.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.